Just given, regardless of the opponent, given the month that these guys have had, how much would just getting a W and putting some positive results on the board, how much would that help this team?
It'd be tremendous. You know, obviously we've been working hard week in and week out, and not to have the check mark in the W column the past few weeks has been a struggle. But our guys they have great perseverance and resiliency, and they'll keep fighting. So we're going in and preparing to get that win, and that will give us a lot of confidence.
When you look back at Saturday, just what's your overall evaluation of the offense, of the play calling, of everything?
Oh, it was great.
Yeah. Good.
Obviously, very unsatisfied with how things turned out. You know, we could have done a lot of things better. Could have done. We need to take advantage of opportunities in the red zone. We need to take care of the football.
What I guess obviously hindsight being 2020. When you look back at the red zone, is there anything you would have changed in terms of stuff you called and stuff like that?
Sure. Every play that didn't work, I wouldn't have called, and any play that did work, I would have called. We had it beat on a couple of tendencies that we felt good about, and we took our shots to the end zone. It didn't work out, so just got to work on execution more than anything. It starts with me. Obviously, I got to do a better job preparing our guys during the week for those different types of situations, putting them in a position to make those plays.
What have you seen from Chattanooga? When you look at their defense on film, what do you see from them, and what can you tell us a bit about them?
I'll tell you what, extremely well coached, very simple schematically. They don't do a whole lot at all, but what they do very, very well. They line up. Their philosophy is they're not going to make mistakes. They're going to keep the ball in front of them. They're going to play hard. I give their coaches a lot of credit. You'd think that with their simplicity, you could scheme them, but everything you devise, you realize that they have an answer for.
You guys have been consistent in praising this team's work ethic, their attitude. Are you at all, given how young they are, the fact that some of these games have been so physical and so tough, are you at all surprised that they've held up so well mentally?
Yeah, our guys are resilient. That's part of Coach Jones's program, and we put these guys through a lot of adversity besides the adversity they experience on Saturdays in a game. So whether it's in the weight room, whether it's in the meeting room, on the conditioning field, we make sure our guys can handle stress, they're put in stressful situations throughout the course of the season, and we got to continue to handle that and rise up to the challenge.
Did you feel like you had some success with your gap scheme and blocking that you feel encouraged by going forward?
If you look at the productivity of our run schemes, our gap scheme has been the most productive, along with our sweep scheme.
And what are the benefits from that? What do you like about the gap scheme? What does that help you do?
Angles. Gives us angles.
This weekend, we should probably get a look at some other running backs possibly, including Darrell Scott. When you get a guy like that out there, as a coordinator like you, do you get a little excited that you get to add another guy who can do something a little bit different from some of the other players?
Right. Darrell's getting better and better each week, and has done a good job of picking up the nuances of the position. So he'll add an element of speed and quickness to the position for sure.
How much can we expect to see out of him this Saturday?
We'll see how the flow of the game goes, but he's game ready, and he's ready to step in.
Do you expect to have Lane?
Yes.
Mike, Justin kind of owned up to some of the recent turnovers, I think, particularly against Florida. Is that something you kind of expect your senior quarterback to do when he makes mistakes, to kind of say, hey, it was my fault?
Right. I mean, again, he's a leader, and he's going to take responsibility, just like I take responsibility for the performance of this offense. He's going to step up, and as a leader of the offense on the field, he's always going to say things fall on his shoulders. Obviously, there's so much that goes into timing and spacing and rhythm of the pass game, but we need to execute in every facet of it.
What were kind of the biggest learning points for him from that game? I guess what do you want him to take away from that one?
Again, it's just managing the offense and taking care of the football, particularly in the red zone.
Jalen's had so much of the lion's share of the rushing attack so far this season. Ideally, how much more balance would you like to get in that rushing attack, or just find some guys to help him out?
Sure. He's carried most of the load, and typically we'll feed the hot hand, as we like to say. I don't think he's gotten too many carries any particular game, but definitely as he's gotten the load, if it gets to a point where we need to take some off his plate, we will.
You
seemed a little more vocal when we were in here Tuesday. Is that just something that comes from a game like Florida where there are pre-snap penalties and red zone turnovers?
No, I wouldn't. I didn't realize I was more vocal. I kind of, ramp up the energy.
Yeah.
I try to bring it every day. I shouldn't say I try. I do bring it every day, as does everybody on this team. But yeah, I think everybody across the board has a sour taste in their mouth, and we're playing with a pissed off mentality. So that's how we're practicing, and that's how we plan on going into this game.
Mark, I'm sure you talked about the red zone stuff already, haven't you? Have you talked about the red zone?
Yes.
Just is it a combination of things, or is it one particular thing that's kind of you have 2 touchdowns in your last 8 red zone trips? Is it execution that basically all boils down to?
Yeah, well, again, I mentioned we need to execute in the red zone, and it starts with making sure that in the course of practice, we come out, we make sure we put our players in the right situations and positions to execute those plays.
Guys, good.